that was one of my hardships, was when you're not in a place where it's conducive to do the thing you love.
Gear is particularly hard for me to come by.
You just gotta play it right and try to take advantage of like friends' deals and everything like that.
A big complication I feel like with outdoor gear is at full price, it's so expensive.
My name's Andrew, or Andy Roth, and originally I'm from the San Fernando Valley, Los Angeles. I've done quite a few different things in the past. Currently I'm, I guess you could call it semi-retired. I sold a business about 8 years ago. That was a trivia business.
My name is Tanner Aslin, and I am from Teton Valley, Idaho. Idaho, baby. My occupation is a line cook at a local brewery here in Bend, Oregon, where I currently live.
I'm Kate Perry, and I'm originally from St. Petersburg, Florida. I'm a quality assurance technician at 10 Barrel.
I'm Logan Kiper, and I'm from South Florida. I serve at a restaurant called 10 Barrel, and I host and do some other things as well sometimes.
All right, snowboarding. I mean, just like the origin to snowboarding, skating and surfing started it all for me. First skated and surfed from probably about 8, 10 years old, different levels as far as taking it serious. And then I saw a snowboard video, and I was like, I had never really seen snowboarding. I'd seen skiing. I never skied. I always used to want my parents to ski. I try to talk them into taking me skiing. They never would. And then I saw a snowboard video, and this is just right after the launch ramp era of skateboarding, and that was my era as far as when I was a kid. And I went, oh my God, they're strapped in and they're giant launch ramps, and they're just flying through the air off of launch ramps, doing all the different grabs that we used to do off the launch ramps. And a lot of it was soft. I'm like, I want to do that. And so I went and learned how to snowboard. That was it.
I started skiing as soon as I could remember. I always like to say my first time skiing was with my grandfather. Before I was a year old, he took me up in a backpack. We went skiing. So I like to say that was my first time, but first time on skis probably four years old, and then been ripping ever since.
Well, growing up in Florida, I lived there for the first 10 years of my life. I'm 24 now, for reference, I guess. But hadn't been skiing up until I moved to Alabama in middle school. And first time I went skiing was in North Carolina at Sugar Mountain. We just went to go visit some family friends at their cabin, and they thought it would be like a fun thing for us to try out. And I just remember skiing 2 days of like now what I would call very subpar terrain and snow, and just like I like cried when we had to leave. I was like, I want to stay another day. Like, this is so fun. It wasn't really until I moved to Washington in high school. I'd maybe been skiing a total of 3 times before that. And then once I moved to Washington, I was able to actually, get like 15 to 20 days in a year. And I was really surprised by how like quickly I progressed, basically. I'd only had like 1 formal lesson at that point. I was just skiing with people that were better than me.
What year was COVID? I always forget this question. So I guess I've been snowboarding about 4 years or 5 years, and it just captured me really quick. I started skiing in Jackson, Wyoming after COVID. I broke my leg and was stuck basically inside for I felt like a year, but it was probably like 4 months before COVID also. And that just made everything feel crazy all the time. So that was a really long gap with a really big resume gap. And I was getting a minimum wage job wherever I went. So you moved to Jackson first, and that looked super cool. I remember just asking you about like pay, and you're like, minimum wage is at least way higher than home. And at the time, finding anywhere to live at home, if I wanted to do that, was a lot of money too.
Why is it worth it? For me, it's been a lifelong pursuit. So it's like the one constant for me has been skating, surfing, snowboarding, board sports. and I don't have any kids. So when I got to a certain point, it was like, okay, like where maybe some of my friends get a chance to kind of re-embrace it and live vicariously through their kids. And once I determined that it probably wasn't in the cards for me to have kids, I just was able to refocus and make myself have the fun that I would have had with a kid. At this point in my life, living the lifestyles, it's kind of, the end is nigh, so to speak, of shredding. So you start, like people talk, back in the day or whatever about midlife crisis and they go buy a Porsche or whatever. Like mine was a little later than what I might consider midlife, but you start seeing like there's only so many years left. And if you really look at it, it's finite. Like everybody likes to say, oh, you'll still be able to be out there snowboarding and skating. And usually that comes from people that don't snowboard and skate very hard, because there is a reality to it. And there is, sure, as you get older, maybe you're physically capable to do the tricks, but what quality of life do you have when you're breaking a hip every time you slam and then you can't enjoy life just walking around? So.
Dude, I just love skiing, man. I don't know, I was trying to think deeper there other than I just love skiing, but I love powder, I love flying, going 60 miles an hour. I love the people, all the friends and people that I've met on the mountain are so cool. Being able to watch my friends just fly and do some crazy shit, it's pretty sick. I've continued to live in the mountains because of the community that I grew up in. I know how friendly and inviting the community can be and supportive of you and your passions, as well as just those are the activities that I grew up doing and enjoy doing. And by moving to another mountain town, I knew I would find people that had like-minded thought processes and wanted to hang out.
I would say, this might be a basic answer, but mental health. The outdoors have been really important to me kind of throughout me growing up and for my mental health. So having the mountains so close by to ski, to hike, to bike, being able to just get outside and release steam and all that stuff definitely makes me a better person, and also makes me a better person at work too. Like I feel like I can show up at work, and I already am passionate about my job, but I'm able to have kind of the best of both worlds and get my energy out and come to work and be present. Bend in particular, just because we have a pretty good brewing infrastructure here. I knew kind of my junior year of college that I wanted to work in the fermentation industry, so being able to work at a medium-sized, larger brewery where I can follow my passion but also get like benefits, like a 401k, health insurance, whatever. That was a huge plus. And then you can't really beat Bend's proximity to the mountains, like being able to like 20 to 30 minute drive, 40 if it's like snowy, be able to get up to the mountain before work and ski and then go into work I think it's a pretty unique lifestyle that we have here.
It's really nice to snowboard all the time, past winter. I like that I can do all the springtime things, super late season, and I can skate pretty much whenever I want, all year round here. And then if those aren't doing it, I can just ride my bike, go to the river and swim. And there's a college here, community college. So for this mountain town, it kind of makes sense. You can take advantage of what's around. The last one wasn't quite like that, but this one is, and that's nice. At first, I wasn't really sure. I just kind of did it. I don't even know why. I just wanted to do something new, and an opportunity popped up, so I took it. Now, it's because of the mountains themselves. I feel like I can get lost any day doing whatever I want and not have to think about dumb things that may or may not be dumb. And when I do those dumb things, I can go separate them, spend time in the outdoors. Dumb things being just regular adult things. I still do them, but I just enjoy being outside in all of my free time otherwise.
When I dropped out of college and I moved to Big Bear, my parents cut me off. They still paid me like health insurance and things, but they stopped, if college was paid for and everything, and they cut me off. And it's like, you eat ramen, you put, you clip lift tickets. Like, that's what I was talking about when it's like, you just make it happen. Now, it is true. Like, even if you can do, some of those things you can't do anymore, but like, even just existing now is a lot more expensive than it was. I don't mean because of inflation or whatever. It's just life's more expensive now. It's hard to ski bum it, you know. But you can. But you got to work at it. You know, I've been very lucky, man. Like really my whole life. I just as far as being able to do this stuff, you know, I've just been pretty lucky, and in life in general. Like I've worked hard. I've done things, but like, acknowledge that things have gone pretty well for me. I'm always happy for that reason, for the most part. Even if something pisses me off, I'm just like, yeah.
Oh God. Well, I'm a gear destroyer, first off. So gear is particularly hard for me to come by. Luckily, I know a lot of really fantastic people that have supplied me with their personal equipment. Still looking for a sponsor. But yeah, gear's hard to come by. It's expensive. But I think if you're just trying to get into the sport and learn the basics, that you can buy some secondhand gear for a relatively inexpensive price and still have a hell of a time and just learning the basics and trying to understand the fundamentals.
I would say at this point I'm pretty lucky just because I have collected a few sponsors kind of along the way. And before that, I worked at a ski shop, so I guess I've done a good job of kind of working my way kind of into the industry to get discounts and stuff. But before that, I mean, it was mostly just buying discounted stuff whenever there were kind of like ski swap meets and things, because a big complication I feel like with outdoor gear is at full price, it's so expensive. And I do well enough for myself, but like I can't really be affording to drop like $2,000 on like ski setups and stuff. So yeah, I would say Bend at least has a lot of, Bend in the Pacific Northwest in general, I feel like have good resources for getting things at a discount and used gear. So I feel like we're pretty fortunate to have that most of the time.
I mean, I'm still building up. Yeah, because of choices, I have a lot of snowboards right now, but I feel like I'm still building up all the gear to get fully comfortable with everything I want to do. Like if I want to go on long tours, I still don't have it. It's expensive stuff, so it's definitely a little more difficult. I had to, over the years, acquire different things. I bought bindings first. A couple months later, some boots, just saving money, paying rent in the motel in Jackson. Demoing boards because I worked for them, so I had the advantage there. You just gotta play it right and try to take advantage of like friends' deals and everything like that. But it's for sure expensive, and it's not easy if you're trying to build a life and a lifestyle at the same time. And skiing and snowboarding, those things are the lifestyle. They're just not cheap. A couple $1,000s for a resort and backcountry setup overall, at least two. Even if you find the deals, you're spending money. So I still need a split board. That'll be nice.
I don't know if you're gonna go into this, but the important thing is like all the people I've met and all the friends I have, and a lot of them I'm still friends with that I've met through shredding. That's like one of the most important things. Being in those circles, I even started doing USASA border crosses as an older dude just to be around like others, you know, because I was living back down in LA. There wasn't a lot of people who had shredding like that on the mind or were like into it like that, especially that were my age. So I started doing those. To be around other people like that. And so for me, I knew there was when I moved to Bend, I knew there was a shred scene here, but I had no idea how vibrant and just diverse it was but yet all together at the same time. Here, even though this place has been blown up too, it's still because it just still has it. And so definitely it was a pleasant surprise, and it's been super rad. Since I moved here, being able to just, like I said, like the skaters, and I also have to say the older, there's a huge multi-generational older shred scene here. So to come and have you can ride with the young kids, and you can ride with the old dudes, and you can ride with them all together, and it's pretty special.
I would say now that this was my second winter here, and it's just so fun and refreshing being able to go to the mountain and just like randomly see people that I've met just throughout these past 2 seasons, like skiing and snowboarding, through like friends of friends that have become my friends, basically. I think Bachelor's very unique in terms of people like to push themselves here, but it's also easygoing. Like people are friendly, you know, they want to chat. Like it's really easy just to kind of like catch people I maybe haven't seen in a few weeks on the mountain and just take a few laps and catch up. Versus where I feel like other mountain towns, like, you know, like the whole Tahoe area, I feel like is very like, send it or just like go home. Like, you know, like everyone's kind of chomping at the bit to do like the next big thing. And I think that here it's a lot more balanced, which I feel like has helped me progress as a skier a lot.
It's pretty cool. There's like 5 different places to go to concerts in what I think is more of a small town, almost city. That's cool. The river's cool. Everyone wants to be outside. Community's pretty inviting as well, I'd say. I've met a lot of friends out here pretty quick that we all have something different we can do together, especially usually snowboarding and skiing, which is my favorite. They'll all go to the skate park. It's just people inviting, very inviting.
I'd like to see some smaller companies, which are starting to pop up, but actually be able to make a living. So like, I don't need them. They don't need to be millionaires. Like they just be able to, again, be for the people that want to have businesses to be able to facilitate them doing the thing they love. I want that ability to be there. So, you know, I just want there to be a balance of small and big businesses. And then, I mean, as far as the shredding, like I think like a lot of people, it's already kind of going there. I'm stoked that style and less spins and flips has started to get embraced, and there's an ability for a fair amount of snowboarders now to make livings without triple or quad corking or whatever if they got 60s and just the way they ride, and it's that people in general appreciate that now.
I don't know. I think there's 2 very like different paths in the skiing industry. You're either like core, you know, or like a skier who doesn't do a lot of competitions and just makes films and does, you know, street parts and backcountry, you know, and those people have their own side of the industry. And then there's the competition aspect where it is, you know, these people doing incredible and amazing things that are driving the sport in a new direction. And I think that has picked up a lot of traction in the digital era that we work in. You know, anything that's a 5-second clip that can pop off is what's driving the industry right now. And I wish that would change. I wish kind of we would go back to the long format of like watching a full part movie, because I love watching ski movies. And when there's a good ski movie, God, it's a good ski movie.
I mean, I think I feel like over the past 2 years it's gotten better, but like being nice to beginners is cool. Like encouraging beginners, encouraging people, you know, like intermediates even, like, you know, that are people trying new things when they're like first starting out, like on kind of like anything on the mountain. I think Bachelor in general does a good job of it, but I feel like it's always good to kind of be mindful, you know, especially even on a powder day, like you see people struggling. It's like, don't make them feel bad. Like maybe it's their first powder day kind of deal. And I feel like if I see someone on the mountain who looks like, you know, maybe like a ski's popped off or something, like they're maybe in like a weird situation on the backside, I think it never hurts to kind of be a helping hand out there. So I think, yeah, just being a little friendlier just in the ski industry in general is always a good thing. But
I like it to keep being creative. It seems super creative, even with spin to win. That's the main contest. I just don't pay attention to those as much, and I feel like that helps. But I like creativity a lot. I like when people jib around. But just I want it to keep progressing, keep giving people opportunities that may or may not usually have the opportunity. I wish 3 brands didn't own all of them and just buy people out all the time. That's pretty whack. And that's why nothing's creative, I think. I think it'd be cool to see people start, I mean, I feel like I already see it, but just fighting back or just supporting just smaller brands and just shops in general that order those smaller brands, and those are what they have in their stores.
I mean, I would do it better. I obviously, you get older, you learn a lot of things, and you think about how you could have done it differently or more effort you could have put in certain places to maybe have higher levels of success, or maybe a few of my things. Not everything works in life. Like there's things I look back, if I'd have done this, maybe this would have worked. But no.
I think we all have regrets. I think that's just, human nature. We always are looking back on things that we could have or should have done. And I think you should take those as learning experiences and try to just be a better person in the long run. I definitely have many regrets, and yeah, things could be different, but I ski every day that I want to ski, and I have great friends that I get to enjoy every day with, and I honestly can't complain.
I mean, if I had been born in a mountain town, that would have been cool. Like, but in terms of my own journey, I hesitate to say this, but I really don't think I have any regrets. I've had a few gnarly crashes in the past, but I feel like those have taught me valuable lessons about risk assessment and things like that. So I feel like it's good to have lessons like that to hold on to for the future, because I think everything and all the choices I've made have kind of led to where I am now. So I wouldn't change anything.
I feel like sometimes I think about other paths, but I don't wish I would have taken them, which feels good. Just the overinflated cost of everything and having options of different jobs to make different money that still kind of allow a lifestyle to go outside every day was definitely interesting. I went through a lot of different jobs to find one that is working for me right now. I feel like I learned that I can do it no matter what. I tried a couple times before coming here and actually thinking about saving money and being more serious with everything. And this place just made it, in my mind, seem possible to go anywhere I want with that information. If I wanted to go somewhere else and save some money extra, I could.
When I got my first free snowboard, and that was kind of you're young, you're a kid, a free snowboard, that was pretty cool. Yeah. I'll remember that. Or the first contest I won, I'll remember that. It's the POW and the riding and the sessions and certain stomp tricks over the years. It's just like surfing, barrels, certain barrels, they're just ingrained, in your head forever.
Just every day skiing with the homies.
The day that you were there filming the JMO hit, I think that was super memorable, just because, I don't know, standing up there with some of the pros, and I mean, that day was all dudes too. It was kind of, I could have let myself be intimidated, but I knew I really wanted to do it, and I knew it was within, my realm of capabilities. So yeah, being able to stomp that and ride out, and then my boyfriend was there too, so just hugging him at the end and be oh my god, I did that, that was pretty special.
I mean, probably jumping off the cornice, if we're thinking memories here, that felt really cool. I feel like I didn't know I was gonna do it, and then you did it. And watching videos from Jackson first, it looks sick, and everyone hypes it up. So that was a great memory. If I look back every winter, I feel like I just think about springtime when all the homies are together and everyone's just smiling and having the greatest time of their life, no matter what's going down outside of where you're at. So probably that's my favorite memory blocked into one. Just springtime with the homies. So good.
I think if I haven't related enough, it's my story is just somebody who, has lived this lifestyle all their life to some extent, has gotten older. As you asked, it's what I think about, it's what I dream about. It's what my, the TV shows or the I watch the surf contest. I have a fantasy surf team. It's everything. And I'm just trying to keep the party going and just finish a few things, maybe a few tricks, or just get a little bit more out of my system that I didn't feel like I got all the way out, and ride powder too. So that's really all I'm trying to, I don't have some crazy message. My thing is, at a certain point I always say, like, you know, I was sponsored back in the day, and then that ended, and then you go through sponsorship withdrawals, and you're like, and I just decided at some point through that process, after, you know, a few years down the line, like, okay, I'm just gonna work hard, start a business or businesses. It took a few businesses, and at some point I'll sponsor myself. But you don't wanna wait to sponsor yourself till you're 65 and retired, because then how are you gonna be able to go out and shed? So that's my thing. There it is, that's it.
Just be more aware of our fellow humans. You know, we're all out here living our lives. It's not just your world.
Don't be afraid to push yourself, even if you are learning something. I say later in life, but I mean, I feel like in the ski community, a lot of people learn when they're like 2, or they're straight out of the womb and they're on skis. But I know, like me, and I know a bunch of other people in the community too, kind of started maybe in their teens or even like early 20s or even after that. So I think, like, yeah, just don't be intimidated to go out and try something new, because you might surprise yourself.
Godspeed. I don't know. Just do what you want to do. And just think about some other things and progress in everything outside of what you're doing also. And everything's good. You'll be all right.